Alright guys, so you want to have an amazing lawn, but right now, let's be honest, your lawn is probably ugly if you're watching this video, so I'm going to go through the 5 steps to go from an ugly lawn to an amazing lawn. The general thing I want you to understand is you got to make small steps of progress. It's not going to happen overnight. So do as many of these tips as you can, and you'll get better at it. The first one is going to be about mowing technique. The most important thing will be that your blades are actually sharp. Now I've got videos on how to sharpen it. It's pretty easy. I used to bring them somewhere to get service because I was too afraid to do it myself. But then when I saw how easy it was, I do it now. It's pretty cheap also to do it yourself. So look in the video description for that. The second thing is mowing height. Now, a lot of people will like to mow short because they think they're going to have to mow less often, but there's something called the 1/3 rule. Basically, you want to cut off 1/3 of the lawn at a time. That's based on height, not area of your lawn. And if it's short, you're going to have to do it more often because it's going to need it more often. The best advice I can give you is for a cool season lawn is to mow as high as you can with your lawnmower, as long as your grass is not flopping over. A little bit of flopping over is okay, but if your lawn is really thin, you don't want it to be laying over. That's not good. So go up every week, just go up another notch until it starts to look like the grass can't stand up. Also, you want to be mulch mowing. A lot of people like to bag because they think that the clippings will turn into thatch. That's actually not the case. Thatch is something else. Don't worry about thatch. Most likely you won't have a thatch problem. What you actually want to do is mulch mow so that the grass clippings can go back and return nutrients to the soil, which they say if you mulch mow every year, that's like an extra application of fertilizer and nitrogen, and it also brings moisture, and it's just a lot of good stuff. So mulch mow. Bag only if there's a very specific reason to, like if you're scalping or if it rained crazy and your mower just can't mulch mow because it's way too thick. So do your best, but mulch mow as much as possible. Now the next thing will be watering. This I did wrong for a while. I was under the assumption that if you water for an hour, then that's enough water. But if you have cheaper sprinklers, it might take 6 hours. And the way you find out is you take cups or tuna cans, put them around, turn your sprinklers on. I do it for an hour and then measure how much water is in there. Now, if it's not an inch, keep watering. Keep watering, and you might be surprised. I had an old sprinkler that took 6 hours. And it's not the water pressure, it was the sprinkler itself. We have amazing water pressure here, so you want to be watering 1 time a week, the full inch. So once you figure out how much you should be watering, you should be watering that much once a week. Now obviously if you look at weather reports and you already got an inch, you can wait 7 more days and then water another inch. But if you aren't able to do that, or you can only water once a week, just put it for the full inch. You'll be good to go. That will help tremendously. Now you might notice that sometimes you could water the whole lawn. Like I watered the whole lawn, and there were certain areas that were always brown anyways. That's where dish soap can come in. Now I actually used a professional grade surfactant because I wanted to try it and see the difference, and that works much faster. I think it was $60 for a bag. It was within a week that brown spot turned green because it was already getting an inch a week of water. But you can go this route. I've used this in other areas. I've done it at friends' houses. I've showed them, and it works pretty quick too. Might not be instant results within a week, but a couple weeks, keep doing it. It'll get there. I also like to make my own. It's a lot cheaper. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. The benefit to that is there's some natural surfactants that you can use, yucca extract and all that stuff. That's good for the soil as well. So once you're mowing properly, nice and tall mulch mowing, and you got your watering down 1 inch a week, the next step is proper feeding. Now, for the most part, you probably know what this is, Milorganite. For the most part, I just use this. Now, if you don't like doing liquid sprays and mixing stuff, step one isn't terrible. It's better to separate the pre-emergence, which I'll get into later, but the step one I feel like is an okay sometimes use, but for the most part, Milorganite is going to actually feed the soil, and it's a natural way of feeding the grass because the microorganisms break down the natural materials in here, and then they feed the grass and the soil. And what's nice is you can't really over apply this. Some people will put twice the bag rate down weekly. Doesn't burn the lawn. It works great. But I would recommend, I like doing for most people, I like recommending the 4 times a year method. And that's basically before all the major holidays, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Thanksgiving, I think Labor Day. A week before those holidays, dump it down at the bag rate. Then when it comes around to that holiday and you got people over, it looks great. Pretty simple to do, but most people aren't fertilizing enough. If you're doing it 4 times with Milorganite, that's great. That's you got it all down. If you do the 4-step process, that works too. You're not going to have as nice of a results because that's not feeding the soil, and that benefit does other stuff than just grow the grass. When you feed the soil, it makes the soil loosen up, it holds water better, it just got so many better things. If you think about, like in nature, the soil is always nice and fertile. Well, you want fertile soil for your lawn, so using a natural, it's not certified organic, USDA organic, but it's an organic fertilizer, and is widely available, which is why most people prefer to recommend this, because you can find other options out there. But if I tell you guys, hey, go get this, well, if you don't live where I live, chances are you're not going to find it. But these guys, they got it everywhere. So here's where we get into where most people fail. Most people think, okay, I'll mow it, I'll cut it, I'll water it, and everything will be good. And then they wonder why they're infested with weeds, and then they get frustrated, and then it kills it. So there's a 2-step process to fixing all the weeds in your lawn. You need to kill them and prevent. The best way to do this is in the springtime when the forsythia blooms. Get your step 1 product, put it down. You're going to prevent most of the weeds. Some will still get through, that's fine, but this is going to way reduce the weed pressure. Now you might be wondering, oh, well, I just put down Milorganite. Can I put this down? Yes, you can do both at the same time if you really wanted to. You'll have to mow more often, but it's not going to burn the lawn. So the step 1 has a pre-emergent in it. That's going to prevent new weeds. It's not going to prevent every weed type, but the majority of it that everybody has troubles with will be prevented. Then it gets on to killing weeds. All right, so I like doing things the simple way. You're not going to kill all the weeds at the same time. Some people like to mix a little bit of this and that and this and make a concoction that can kill every type of weed. Well, that's great, but I like seeing progress, and I also like not stressing the lawn too much. So if you've got a ton of weeds, the best thing you can do is start out with this. It's Weed Be Gone Max plus crabgrass control. Now, if you look at the active ingredients, there's a whole bunch of different companies that make generics or different versions, but basically the one that says it kills crabgrass is going to kill most of the weeds in your lawn. You'll look at it, I don't know if it says a list, 200 weeds this will kill. So you get 1 bottle of this, 5,000 square feet, hook it on your hose, spray it around, go to town. You don't need to like drown everything, you just spray it so you see that it got wet, and it's going to kill the majority of the weeds. and you're gonna go, wow, this is great. So you got this killing everything that's already there. You got the other stuff preventing new stuff. Right there, you're already gonna be, you know, way better off than before. Then the next step would be to start to get into a little bit more difficult weeds. The biggest one being, all right, buddy, the biggest one being clover. Now I've got this version. They do make it in a ready to spray bottle, so it's the same exact thing. Hook it up to your hose, spray it around. It will kill clover, ground ivy, chickweed, oxalis, and violet, a couple other tough ones. This will kill most of the tough weeds. It's really simple, but don't spray it all at once. Use this, spray it around, wait a week or two, look around, see if you need to spray again, if there's any more crabgrass or whatever dandelions you got to kill. If there aren't, then you move on to this. And then a few weeks later, if you got a lot of nutsedge, you can get one of these of the nutsedge killer. I'd like to take this and just spot spray it. So this does, I think, 5,000 square feet again. Most of it's in here because I just spot spray with it. But since it hooks up to your hose and you can just go around real quick, you don't have to mix anything, it's a lot more convenient. Okay, thank you. There's a lot of other weed killers that are more specific for the even harder to kill ones, but generally those weeds, most people don't notice and are like, oh, that's fine, that's part of the lawn, and they didn't even know it was there. Someone like me, I want the perfect lawn, so I start to notice everything that doesn't match up and I try to kill it. But watch the rest of my videos, stay subscribed, I get into those things. But this video is more for the standard, hey, I just have an ugly lawn and I want to have a nice lawn and I don't want to go crazy spending money, because each of these things, I think they're like 10 or 20 bucks. They'll do the average lawn and you're good to go. All right, so now we got the weeds done. Next step comes down to repairing. Grass seed. Now, the thing that most people do wrong when they're repairing their lawns, and I see this on forum posts all the time, to talk with friends all the time, everybody in the spring wants to get going with lawn care and they plant their grass seed and then they wonder why it never grew. Well, that's because you put weed preventer down, and that will also prevent the good grass seed. And it's also because spring is not the best time to be growing grass seed. You can do it. I've got a video if you want to see how I did it, and it worked fine, but you have to pay a lot more attention. So if you're watching this video searching how to fix an ugly lawn, chances are you're not there yet, so just wait till the fall. After you've killed all the weeds, you're gonna have holes anyway, so why seed twice? Why, you know, you're gonna be killing the new grass seed while you're trying to spray all these chemicals on the weeds. So you might as well get rid of the weeds, focus on watering and mowing and killing weeds, and then in the fall, you can start filling in and repairing the spots. And now it can be as simple as just throwing the seed down, throwing some peat moss on top. You can go around with a thatching rake and really dig it up if you want to. You could aerate an overseed, that works as well. All those methods work, but in the fall. The reason most of the time people fail is because they're doing it in the spring. And if you aerate and overseed in the spring, sure, it might help a little bit, but you're not going to see the results you're expecting. And so that's why everybody always says fall, fall, fall. But you don't want to do it late in the fall, because then you got winter coming. And my lawn, I seeded it a little bit late and it came in, it's growing, but if I had been able to seed it sooner, right now the grass would be amazing. So once the temperatures start to go down, that's when you can start to grow your grass seed and do that. And I'll put some more links to how to do all that stuff. I guess that was my sign to wrap it up. So if you want to see the steps on how to do more in-depth detail, all those different steps, click on the links in the description. This is my awesome lawn. It's looking pretty good. It's not perfect yet, but I'm working on it. And if you love watching videos like this, please subscribe. I'm going to show you all the crazy stuff that I try on my lawn just to see how much extra oomph I can get out of it. Because I like to go for, I consider it a performance lawn. I don't know if
that's the right word for it, but I want to see how much I can get out of the lawn, just as something fun to do. So there you go. Thanks for watching.